Ever seen that movie, The Matrix? You know that bit with the red pill and the blue pill?
Huh.
Today's deep dive isn't quite that intense, but we are going to dig into this project called Matrix. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride through all things blockchain, crypto, even this whole proof of green thing I keep hearing about. So we're going to crack open their white paper, really get into what Matrix is all about, what makes it different, and whether their NZT48 token is worth a closer look. And to help me unpack all of this, I've got our expert on the line. Before we go full-on crypto nerd here, can you give us the elevator pitch? What is Matrix in a nutshell?
Imagine the stock market. But instead of all those Wall Street guys in suits making the calls, it's all run by code. And get this, it's run by the users themselves. That's basically what Matrix is going for. It's what they call a decentralized exchange. DDEX for short. It's where people can trade crypto directly with each other, no middleman needed.
A DX, huh? I've seen that term thrown around.
Yeah.
Why is everyone so excited about decentralized exchanges?
It's all about cutting out those middlemen I mentioned. Traditional exchanges, they act as go-betweens, and that can lead to higher fees, sometimes even security risks. Matrix wants to give the power back to the users. You have more control, potentially lower costs, and everything is way more transparent.
More control, more transparency. Love to hear it. But let's talk about this NZT48 token. Maybe it's just me, but that name, it rings a bell. Kind of reminds me of that movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper.
Well, I can't promise any crazy brain power boosts or anything, but you're right. NZT48 is at the heart of this whole thing. It's the native token of Matrix. Think of it like the official currency of their ecosystem. But here's where it gets interesting. If you're holding on to NZT48, you actually earn dividends. You heard right, dividends, like with traditional stocks.
Hold on, back up a second. Dividends from cryptocurrency. Now you've got my attention. That's not something you see every day. But before we get into how those dividends work, where does this NZT48 token even live? What platform are we talking?
Great question. They decided to build on the Polygon network. It's kind of like choosing the right neighborhood to set up shop, you know? Polygon has this reputation for being fast, efficient, low transaction fees. Plus, it's built on Ethereum, so it has that strong track record for security.
Okay, so for someone like me who's still kind of new to the whole DX world, what does that mean in practice? How does that impact my experience?
Basically, it means things run smoother and potentially cost you less. Imagine trading on a platform where transactions happen super fast and don't cost a fortune. That's the kind of experience Matrix is shooting for.
Fast and cheap. Two of my favorite words. Okay, let's get back to this NZT48 token. The white paper mentions this term tokenomics, which sounds way more complicated than it probably is. Can you break it down?
It's not that complicated, really. Tokenomics is just a fancy way of talking about the economics of cryptocurrency. It covers stuff like how many tokens exist, how they're distributed, what happens when you buy or sell them, that sort of thing.
Okay, makes sense. So what about NZT48's tokenomics specifically? What's the need to know?
So they started with a fixed supply, right? 1 billion NZT48 tokens, and that's it. No more will ever be created. What you see is what you get. They also have this 5% fee on both buying and selling the token, which might seem a little odd at first.
Or fee on both ends.
Yeah.
Now, that's unusual. What's the thinking behind that? And where does all that money go?
Well, that 5% fee is really the key to a lot of the token's features. A chunk of it gets paid out as dividends to token holders. Another chunk goes to marketing and development. And then some of it is actually burned, which sounds kind of dramatic.
Burned? Are we talking like literally setting fire to tokens?
Not quite. Burning tokens just means they're permanently taken out of circulation. It's a way to control the total supply, and that can actually increase the value of the remaining tokens over time.
Okay, so we've got our limited supply, the fees, this burning thing. I think I'm starting to get it. But let's get back to those dividends for a second, because that really jumped out at me. How do dividends even work with cryptocurrency?
It's actually pretty cool how they set it up. So every time someone buys or sells NZT48, right, the piece of that 5% fee we were talking about, it goes into this special pool.
Okay.
And that pool, it doesn't just sit there. It gets paid out as dividends to everyone holding a certain amount of NZT48.
So it's like a reward for being part of the club. The more you hold, the more you get.
Exactly. It encourages people to hold onto the token for the long term, build a community around it. They don't want people just jumping in and out for a quick buck.
Interesting. It's not just about the tech itself, but like creating a whole ecosystem. Speaking of which, what about their roadmap? The white paper mentioned some pretty big goals, like launching on Telegram. That caught my eye.
Right. So they've got this multi-phase plan. Q4 this year, they're launching the NZT48 token on Polygon, which we talked about. But then get this Q1 of 2025, they want to launch their DEX on Telegram.
Wait, hold up. Telegram, like the messaging app, the one I used to send like funny cat pictures to my friends. We're talking about the same Telegram.
You got it. Definitely a bold move, that's for sure. Their thinking is, by launching on a platform that's already super popular, easy to use, they can pull in a much wider audience, even people who aren't already into crypto.
I'll say it's one way to stand out, but I got to be honest, I'm a little skeptical. Can a messaging app really handle a whole decentralized exchange? What about security?
Yeah, those are fair concerns. Only time will tell if it works out how they're planning. But they're really betting on the user experience here, trying to make trading as simple as sending a message. They even want to integrate with those popular crypto wallets so it's all seamless.
So I could be like trading crypto right next to my cat memes.
Yeah.
Kind of wild when you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, but besides the Telegram thing, what else is on the roadmap?
So in Q2 of 2025, they're planning to add staking, another way for token holders to potentially earn some rewards. Oh, and also, that's when they're planning the first dividend payout.
Hold on, back up for a sec. Staking, what's that all about?
Think of it like a crypto savings account. You lock up your NZT48 tokens for a set amount of time, and in exchange, you get rewards. Could be more tokens, could be a share of those dividends we mentioned.
So again, it encourages people to hold on to the token long term.
Yep, exactly. Longer you stake, the more you could potentially earn. And here's the kicker, they want to build staking right into their Telegram DX. So users could be trading and earning rewards all in one place.
Now that's convenient. Okay, so Q2 2025 is going to be busy for them. What about further down the line?
Well, Q3 2025, their goal is to get listed on other exchanges, both centralized and decentralized ones. Basically, it means more people will be able to buy and sell NZT48. That could mean more liquidity, more visibility for the token.
Sounds like they're really trying to cover all their bases here. Accessibility, building that community, long-term growth. But before we get too caught up in their plans, we should probably look a little closer at the NZT48 token itself,
You mean like the smart contract?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where the magic happens.
For those of us who aren't coding experts, can you explain what a smart contract even is, and why should we care?
Sure. Basically, think of a smart contract like a self-executing contract, but it's written in code, so it automatically enforces the rules that everyone agreed on, whatever those rules might be.
So for NZT48, that smart contract is what makes all those tokenomics we talked about actually work.
You got it. Handles it all automatically. The fees, the burning of tokens, even those dividend payouts, it's all coded into this system.
And this smart contract, it's public, right? Anyone can see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of the big ideas behind blockchain is transparency. So that NZT48 smart contract code, it's all out there. Anyone can audit it, check that it's working right, make sure everything's above board.
That's good to know. Transparency and security are kind of vital in the crypto world with all these new projects popping up every day.
For sure.
I'm curious about the technical details of the smart contract itself. Are there any features that stand out to you?
There are a couple things I noticed. One is that there's this 30-day lockup period for staking. So once you stake your NZT48, you can't just withdraw it right away.
So no get-rich-quick schemes here. Got to be in it for the long haul.
Right. It's meant to discourage people who are just trying to game the system for a quick profit, encourages real commitment to the project.
Makes sense. Anything else baked into this smart contract?
Well, there's the token burning we talked about. That's all controlled by the smart contract, too. It automatically burns a portion of the fees with every transaction. And as we said, that can make the remaining tokens more valuable over time.
Right, like a deflationary currency.
Yeah.
The more it's used, the scarcer it gets.
Yeah.
But what's to stop them from just, changing the rules of the game down the line? What if they decide to create more tokens or mess with the fees to benefit themselves?
That's a great question, and it gets to why smart contracts are so cool. While it's true they're immutable once they're deployed, they can't be changed. There are ways to build in some flexibility and some safeguards.
Okay, so how does that work?
So with NZT48, the smart contract lets them adjust certain things, like, say, the transaction fees. But, and this is important, there's a time delay built in.
So they can't just make changes overnight.
Exactly. Any changes they want to make have to be announced way ahead of time. Gives the community a chance to look it over, discuss it, maybe even vote on it.
So there's a bit of community governance baked in. That's reassuring. It's not just a free-for-all.
Right. The Matrix team seems to get that transparency and community involvement are super important. especially in the crypto world where trust can be hard to come by.
Transparency, community, long-term thinking. Sounds like they're really trying to do things differently here. But we should probably take a minute to think about the risks too, right? I mean, no investment is perfect.
100%. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, especially with all these new features and everything. But you got to be level-headed. So let's talk about some potential downsides, those red flags you want to watch out for.
So we've spent a lot of time really digging into Matrix, their NZT48 token, that ambitious roadmap they've got. Even talked about that unusual Telegram launch. But before anyone goes all in on this project, let's switch gears a bit, put on our skeptical hats. Time to talk about potential risks and challenges. Because you know what they say, two sides to every coin. Or in this case, every token.
Couldn't agree more. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, especially with all the cool features they're proposing, but gotta stay grounded. So yeah, let's look at some potential red flags here.
All right, lay it on me. What's your biggest concern?
Honestly, it's gotta be the Telegram DX. Yeah, it's a novel idea, I'll give them that. But does it really hold up as a trading platform? I mean, Telegram's great for messaging, but DXs are a whole other beast. Security, functionality, user-friendliness. That's a lot to ask from a messaging app.
And it's not like Telegram's got a perfect track record when it comes to security either, right?
Exactly. Plus, there's the whole regulatory landscape to think about. Crypto's still finding its feet, rules are changing all the time. If Telegram runs into any legal trouble, Matrix gets caught in the crossfire. And the NZT48 token, it'd definitely take a hit.
Yeah, Telegram launch is a gamble, that's for sure. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, competition. The DX space is getting seriously crowded these days. New projects popping up left and right. Matrix isn't the only one promising low fees and rewards for their community. They're going to have to fight to stand out, attract users, especially since they're going down this unconventional route with Telegram.
Right. It's not like they're opening a coffee shop in a town with only one other option. It's more like they're setting up shop in a city that's already got a coffee shop on every corner.
Yeah.
Gotta have something special to break through.
Exactly. And while that dividend system sounds great on paper, remember, it depends on people actually trading on the platform. If the Matrix Stacks doesn't get enough volume, those dividends might not be as impressive as they sound.
So really, it all comes down to whether they can get enough people to actually use it.
Exactly. And that brings us to probably the most important takeaway. Do your own research. Read that white paper carefully. Understand the risks before you put any money into any cryptocurrency, honestly.
Couldn't agree more. You mentioned the white paper a couple of times. Just for those who might not know, what exactly is a white paper in the crypto world?
It's basically a detailed document, outlines everything about the project, the goals, the tech behind it, the team, the roadmap. It's the first place to look if you're even thinking about investing in a crypto project.
Homework assignment, everyone. Don't just skim it either. Take your time, highlight important points, and if something doesn't make sense, don't be afraid to ask for help.
There are tons of online communities, forums where you can connect with other crypto folks, learn from their experiences. Just, be careful out there. Watch out for scams and always double check your sources.
Great advice. So, bottom line, what's your overall take on Matrix? Worth a closer look or too early to tell?
Honestly, it's an interesting one. Unique approach, potentially lucrative system if it works how they're saying, and they've got a big vision. But that Telegram launch is a big if, and the competition is fierce.
Sounds like it could go either way, which, let's be real, is kind of par for the course in the crypto world.
Pretty much. At the end of the day, it's your call whether to invest. We've given you the information, but you got to do your own research, figure out if it fits with your goals, your risk tolerance.
Well said. We're all about empowering listeners to make informed decisions. And just a friendly reminder, folks, this is not financial advice.
Nope, not at all. Just two people who find this stuff super interesting, exploring the world of blockchain and crypto.
And maybe getting a little too excited about the possibilities sometimes. But hey, that's part of the fun, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's about all the time we've got for today's deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave you with this. Matrix is betting big on Telegram. Trying to bring crypto to the masses. Will it work? Will they become the next big thing? Or just get lost in the noise? Something to think about.
It's what keeps things interesting. The future of finance. It's happening right now, right in front of us.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll all be trading crypto on our phones without even a second thought. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See you then.